Soul Calibur series. There's probably something else really big that I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, Genshin Impact, John Wayne Genshin Impact also. And that's everything I've done, there's nothing else. And I have a question for you. Do you get to the Cloud District very often? What am I saying? Of course you don't. There we go. So what are we doing? We're going to take some questions? What's happening?
Well, I don't know, but I was going to...
You got it.
I was going to mention, I forget, maybe Keith does too, I forget the things that we're in, but I've been on Family, just to mention some stuff that I've got to do. See, the job for Keith and I that's exciting is that every day we have a new boss, and every day we get to work on something new. So like if you do a commercial today and you didn't like the producer or director, or they've given you a hard time, you go, oh, tomorrow I'm working on World of Warcraft, forget it, I don't care.
Yeah.
But I was just gonna put in here some of the stuff that I forgot to mention, and maybe Keith will just work on these. I've been on Family Guy as Kelsey Grammer. I've been on Goldie and Bear for Disney, where I got to play 5 characters, all talking to themselves in the same scene. So this is some of the, yeah, so you never know, I'm sure Keith will agree, you never know what you're gonna show up and do, because lots of times we don't get the script. And so you'll show up, Keith will show up and say, Keith, I'm gonna pretend I'm a casting director. Keith, we need you to be a British pirate. Do you have anything like that in your stock of characters?
No. No, you got to go for it. But it's true, we do get that stuff all the time. So yeah, you get your, I'm a pirate, you know, and then you make sure that he's a little bit, got some British or Scottish or something in there to work as well with it, and you just roll with it. And if they want to redirect you from there, they will, and you adjust, and you know, it's about being flexible, for sure. Sometimes they ask you to do a dialect or something you can't even do. Have you had that? I don't know. You can do everything. No, I've had stuff. I won't say what. He can do everything. I've had stuff where they just bring me in and they go for a very specific dialect, and I'm like, it's very bizarre that they didn't check with you ahead of time. But I've had that before.
Can you imagine? It's like you go to a job and you're like a plumber. They say, "Oh, we need you to do electrical work."
That's it. No, it is kind of like that. I mean, it's within the realm of what we should be able to do, but you think you would check if it's more specific.
Right.
But then you usually work with them, and they go, okay, well, give me some, you know, that you can do, and they go, okay, let's go with that. And on the fly, they just change the character, and we move on and record.
And we don't worry about it if, what I don't do well are Scottish accents. Oh, well, wait, no, it's not Scottish, it's Australian, I'm sorry. That's the one I really can't nail. But they really don't care, because if I don't do it, they'll bring Keith in next, and they'll say, do you do it? And he'll say, yeah, I'll cover that. But sometimes they'll say, like, we just had a guy in, and he couldn't do, like a parrot. All right, I'm hired, let's do it. Come on, I'm ready, let's do it. So then boom, all right, you got the job, so all right. But you don't get paid extra.
Nice.
Just real
You
quick.
got more stuff to name?
I
What else
forgot
have
to
you been
mention
in?
Diablo.
Diablo, Debbie does
everybody
Dallas.
knows
Is that Debbie does, what are you doing that? That's amazing.
They don't get that even. That's
Good, I'm glad they didn't.
Anybody here a Creed fan? Yo, come on, Sly Stallone. You ever do the Oculus? All right, so I got hired to be Sly
Are
Stallone.
you Sly in that?
Yeah, come on.
I'm Sly in Solar Opposites.
What?
Yeah.
Hey, well, Lord, man, I do
Exactly. Anybody see that episode of Solar Opposites? Yes, that was me and Sly Stallone.
Wow, that was great. Well, you know, there's so much talent in LA. I don't want to say anything other than we're up against 500 people almost every day, and only one person gets the job. You know what that means? Only one person goes home with a paycheck for their family. Now, Keith's got kids. I got kids that just got married. So it's really tough being an actor. Anything else on that?
No, I'm good. I mean, no, but it is work. I don't know. It can be really tough, but it is work. It's always work. I mean, you might have a few sessions here and there that are kind of coastable sessions. You still try your best, but I mean, it feels kind of easy because there's not a lot of dialogue, or it's real simple stuff. And what's easy for you might be difficult for me,
Right.
Because we're all a little bit different. But don't think that it's all just fun and games. It's very cool to work on these shows and to work on these franchises. But I come home from a lot of sessions exhausted, sweaty, you know, my voice is raw depending on the session. But I'm always putting my 100% or 110% in no matter what. So you'd be surprised how fast in front of a mic, especially if you're doing efforts and you're doing fighting sounds and intense scenes and screaming, how quickly you're like sweaty and you lock up a little bit with your body because you're in that action, element. You want to portray that because you wouldn't be loose if you were in a fight. So a lot of us have physicalities while we record that we believe help us either sound more like we're really doing what we're pretending to do, or help us just get into that zone so we do sound better.
Yeah, and Keith hit on something that's wild. Like I said, we don't get the scripts. So you walk in, suddenly something, and then there's 7 sometimes producers. There's a big window, and we have our side of the booth, and they're on the other, and they're mic'd like I am now, and then they're like this. Like Keith will be up there, and they go, Keith, bigger, and then he'll be like, oh, no, smaller, and then they'll fight. And then you're there doing all kinds of jumping through hoops. But imagine, if you don't know, you didn't get the script, you don't know what character you're gonna play, and then they want you for 3 hours at a microphone, performing non-stop. Recording. All right, take 5, and then record for the rest of the, it's exhausting. Should we ask questions, or what should we do? Dance?
You guys got good? I have a rule, we will dance. I have a rule for questions, okay? I don't know about you, there's one question I don't want to answer, I'll tell you right now. Go to iwannabeavoiceactor.com and it will answer all your questions. So if you just want to know how you can become a voice actor, there's a million trillion books and websites about that, and I'd rather focus on some other questions. Because both of us, you can find us on YouTube answering that question 30 times easily. Yeah. So anything else is game, I don't even care if it doesn't have to do with video, so whatever you got. Yeah.
Do you have any tips for how to take care of your voice, especially after a recording session?
Everybody's different, I think. There's stuff that's after, but there's also stuff I do. So for me, I have a little bit, as I've gotten a little bit older, I have a little bit of acid reflux, which bothers me if I eat too late at night, because then you lay horizontally and you kind of gurgle in your sleep and you wake up with a throat, you sound, horrible in the morning. So I don't eat too late, I don't do citrus stuff too late. I personally have recently given up coffee because my career is important to me, and that was something that was affecting my range to a degree, and that's something I didn't want to give up. All of you guys that are sitting there, I could never give up coffee. Yeah, me neither. But you know what? I really love what I do. So one day I'll retire and I'm going to have a hell of a lot of coffee. But right now, that's what I got to do. We do vocal warm-ups, most of us, every day. Definitely before we have sessions.
Most of the time, that vocal warm-up is auditions. Like I have 10 waiting right now that I have to find time to do on my phone because I'm traveling. I'm sure Keith has the same problem. So I use the auditions as a vocal warm-up before I go to a gig. So.
Sometimes I will do that, and other times I found just doing vocal warm-ups for like 3 minutes in the day just helps me. I did some this morning, even though I'm not necessarily recording today, just so I'd have the majority of my voice where I need it for today. I do a vocal mister. So I have a spray that's like this saline solution that just sprays a mist, and I just breathe that for a couple of minutes, and that kind of helps my throat. I sleep with a humidifier. So there's a lot of things you can do. Throat coat, lozenges. There's a lot of different things, but vocal rest is the most important.
Or get into subliminal voiceovers, which is very quiet. It's a different thing. No, saving your voice. One other little technique that Keith would probably agree with is that you have to control the session when you go in. When you're a veteran voice talent, you can sort of say no. Like they'll have you some people are not initiated, like they're young directors, or they're young writers or young producers, and they don't realize that the screaming is at the end of the session.
Oh, right.
The deaths and all that. So to save your voice, sometimes you have to say to them, no, let's put that at the end, falling off a cliff, and because sometimes the script's out of order. So we try to do you've done Modern Warfare, right? Or what's the other one? Call of Duty, yeah. So we've all been on that. So we try to do the softer lines. They're rated 1 to 5 usually. 5 is like screaming. 1 is like radio come in, Tango, Bravo. So we start with those.
Bravo, Tango, we hear you, we read you. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Need the script.
We need Slice to bring it.
Yo, bomb him. Hey, bomb him. Yeah, that's right. Hey,
I was actually watching, I think it was Rocky 2 last night when I was falling asleep. Wait, is that where he fights Drago? Is that 2 or 3?
I don't know.
I don't know. You guys have seen it, right? Have some of you guys seen that?
2.
I thought it was 2. In my head, I thought it was 3 before, but then when I was putting it together, watching, I was like, I think this is just 2. 3's Mr. T. But he has this great speech.
Yeah, you see a lot of changes throughout the fight, Changes in the way you think about me, and changes in the way I think about you. I just want to say, if we can change, everybody can change.
So good.
Thank you, Rocky.
You're welcome.
He's on fentanyl.
That's why he's slurring, It just happens that he's slurring.
Me or him?
No, I don't know, man. Come
I
on.
was like, me or Slide? Which one's on?
Any other questions? Yes, young lady.
What is your most obscure role that you're the most proud of?
Wow. Keith, take that one, go. Somebody mentioned, I'm on a bunch of anime that I did 25 years ago. I'll just mention a few, maybe you guys know these. Flint the Time Detective, Prince of Tennis, Blue Dragon, Dorarama, Transform. I mean, there's all these. Rave Master is my favorite. It's like really weird. I'm on Red Line, which I've yet to see. I mean, there's these older stuff, but I think the one thing you should check out, for me at least, and then I'll let Keith answer, is I did a project called Superman Red Sun about 15 years ago. And I got to play Superman as a Russian landing in the Soviet Union. And they redid it recently. I didn't get the call for it, but it's a motion what's it called? Stop motion animation. And I also played Perry White, which was kind of funny, and some other Russian guy. But check it out, it's on YouTube.
For me, I grew up. So this is one that a lot of people don't know. And if you do, it's just because the internet, but you wouldn't know otherwise. I grew up watching Sesame Street. I love Sesame Street. I mean, it literally started like the year that I was born. So like we have been on this journey of life together, Sesame Street and all my kids watched it. So a large amount of my time I've been watching it, either because I'm making breakfast while it's on, or because I'm a kid sitting and watching it, and I still love it. So I got to be on Sesame Street. I did a character called Ziggy the Rapping Zebrasaurus. So I got to rap on Sesame Street. It was pretty dope. So for me, that's a big deal, and it's not something I'm going to be ever like known for.
I didn't know that.
But I loved it. It was great.
I want to be Mickey Mouse, but that's already been taken over. Yeah, I love that gig.
It'd be a good gig.
Yeah, so I did. That was Superman, and yours was being on Sesame Street. Any other questions today? Okay. Good.
What's either your favorite or like the most fun impression for you to do? Not like a role, but like an impression.
Okay, well, I don't know about Keith. I do a lot of impressions. I really do impressions.
I don't do a ton of impressions. Impressions are funny because I feel like impressions are like the one time that you can be wrong. Just like straight up wrong. Yeah, no, it doesn't sound like it. No, but I just mean in general. Like some people are really good at it and they're masters of it, like you're a master of it. I'm not a master of it, but there's a couple. Bill Cosby's no longer a popular one. I used to do that, but people don't want to hear that as often now. But
what was he pitching? He was pitching yogurt or something?
Jello.
Jello, that's right. I can remember Jello. Yeah, that's so.
So I'm sure there's a few, and if something comes across, in email, like an audition for an impression, I will look it up and listen to the person if I think I might have a shot, and I'll listen, and if it's close, I'll go for it. But otherwise, I go,
I bloody well do Michael Caine. I don't know if you've seen me as the butler in Batman, but I think I should be the Batman, and he should be the butler.
So I do that. Morgan Freeman, I do, I am, believe it or not, Black Batman. So we do all that. It's just a whole bunch of stuff. Jerry Seinfeld, I can't believe it. Elaine and Kramer are having sex. Dr. Fraser Crane, Niles, where's the Petit Syrah? So yeah, I get calls for all that stuff, but there's no money in it because the real actor wants to do the work. But Sly came out pretty good, so I got paid for that.
That's cool.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of, I do parrots and animals too. Say hello, do pigs.
Are you dueling dogs?
Yeah. So impersonations are fun. Sometimes you get hired to do it, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah. People, that's their whole bags.
Yeah.
It's amazing at those.
Yes.
What do you want to call them? What do we call them?
Tyrion Lannister. Go ahead.
Do you ever feel like there's like a default voice you accidentally subconsciously go to in a lot of occasions?
What do you mean by that?
Like,
Sorry, I put you on the spot.
I know like you have your normal speaking voice, but for instance, like
Are you sure?
hardest job is always like depends a lot like a default like how you try to purposely get away from. I don't know if voice actors have something similar.
I don't. It's just for me, I want to be, to me, it's like a magic trick. I was telling the panel the other day, I like to go in and disguise it so you don't recognize me. A lot of times you say, oh, that's David or that's Keith. But a lot of times people hear some of the other work I did and they go, that's you? And I go, yep. And it's sort of like a magic trick not to be recognized. But I don't have any default things, because every time I go in, it's like, be Santa Claus. Ho, 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 yes, Merry Christmas, everyone. Be the elves. Oh, okay, let's put that on the scout. Jimmy, 8-5 stuff. You can't catch me. See, we're running all these voices in our head, so there's no default. It's whatever they need. You just go, okay, send the check.
It all comes down to send the check.
Make sure it doesn't bounce. Any other questions, like fun stuff? Sure. Back there with the hand.
With the hand? The one of you with the hand.
Let's do that again. Who has questions? All right, let's get that lady right there near the banana. Hi, banana person. Everyone, let's turn around and say hi to the banana man. Banana. Let's sing that. What's that song? One, two, banana. Mr. Darling, my banana. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot punch.
Come on. Get it out. All right. All right, question. Go ahead.
You, go for it.
Okay, my question is what line was like your out any of your characters?
Well, here's the thing. My lines, the quotes of my characters, they come to life because of you guys. There's not really a quote or a line that, for me personally, that I did that while I was recording, I was like, boom, drop the mic. That's not the way it works, because you're putting everything into every line, you know what I mean, for it to be the best that it can be. And then you guys decide, because I check the internet once a character comes out, and whatever you're quoting, and you say, oh my God, this is my favorite Torbjorn line, or this is my favorite John Lee line, or this is what Hisoka says that I love the most. Then it to me, it becomes a love for me, and I memorize it because you guys want to hear it all the time. So for me, I don't have a single line, but I love whatever makes you guys happy. And all the lines that you've brought to my attention that now are in my head, and thank you very much, like Osmanthus Wine, which will never ever go away. If that game failed, I would never have remembered that line. But because the game is so huge, Genshin Impact, I sleep and I'm like, Osmanthus Wine. Yeah, because it's in there, it's permanently in there now. So that's why I love the lines because you guys do. And you are the ones that pick what my favorite lines are in the end.
My favorite lines are the ones I haven't been chosen to play yet. I'll give you one.
Luke, I am your father. Join me and together we shall rule as father and son. The Emperor has foreseen this. It is your destiny. Strike him down, Skywalker. Let your hatred flow.
So those are the roles I want to play. Who doesn't want to be Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine? It's on my website, by the way. I keep pushing that every time they go. I keep saying, hey, can't you get me that role? You know, the one with Darth Vader.
That's funny.
All right. Any other questions? Thanks for being patient with us.
Get somebody over here on the edge here. Let's go. Yeah, a white t-shirt, something red on the front.
The question is, how do we handle, I guess, the pronunciation of foreign words? Not well.
It's one of the major challenges, not exclusive to, but especially in anime. For sure, because you have plenty, you'll have just one line, one long line that's got, 2 different cities and 3 different characters within that line. So it's not just getting that one right, like you're struggling on 4 different words and you've got them all in one line. And you've got to get through it and sound, natural at it, which is difficult. It is.
Impact in particular.
Oh yeah, Genshin's like that
It's
too.
like terrible.
The hardest one in Genshin was Liu. Liu is really a tough one. Everybody
Oh my God.
struggles on that one. Whenever it's coming like a wh, it's like wrong. No, it's not Liu wh. We're totally wrong. It kind of drops in your throat.
How about the ones where they have these fantasy games and they make up stuff and they spell it with 12 letters, like it's like RSMJM and it's pronounced Joe or something. And then every time you see that, you go, what is it pronounced like again?
It's Joe.
Yeah, it's Joe.
And
But like,
they make it, they look at you like you're an idiot. It's Joe, it's just Joe. But yeah, but you spelled it with the 4 R's in the Q.
Yeah.
And is that a 7?
and
How
then they
is
look
that
at
Joe?
and they go, just recording.
Thanks, bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brooke. Let's give her a round. Aspiring actress. Sure, why not? She's coming sometime soon.
No, over there. Over.
I got cut from the baseball team. I'm not
Kick
sure.
about. Los Lobos.
Anybody play Fire Emblem? All right, so I got luckily enough I got cast to be Geralt, and any character I play with a J dies.
Oh no.
And I got to be the narrator. Well, here's just something funny as a sideline. Speaking about language, I didn't get the script. They hired me as the narrator. He's reading paragraphs of Vodlin and all these phony names, and I had to go. How do you say that? Patrick Seitz was directing me, who's now playing Kenpachi, which is kind of fun. But I just would stop and go, how do you say that again? I have to, because it wasn't spelled right, I have to do phonetics. It's not fun being an actor, and that's why I quit.
No, David, don't. Come on, everyone. We need your talent. That's real small.
All right, let's go. Got a real question.
They're not really feeling sorry for you. They don't believe you.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Yes, you.
Yes.
have any of you, prior to or after you became a voice actor, done any theater work?
I did theater work as a child, throughout high school and a little bit afterwards. That's where it wasn't my career, but that's where I started. That's where my training started was theater work.
I did, since 14 I've been acting. I got to work, I went to school with Nathan Lane, who you know from Broadway. We did Arsenic and Old Lace together. We did Bud Abbott and Lou Costello routines in high school and in college. We did Arsenic and Old Lace together, and now he's a big Broadway star. I chose to get on a plane and go to LA, which was a huge mistake because I suffered a lot. But I wound up in voiceover, and that's what I've been doing because I was on camera in a lot of different things, and it was just too long on the set, and it was boring, and I decided to go where the money was for me, which was commercials, promos, trailers, animation, that sort of thing. But I did a lot of theater, and I did 20 years of improv with Adam Carolla, Molly Shannon, all these people. I even worked with Robin Williams, but I never made a dime at improv, so that's the story. So I went where the money was, and the paychecks were coming in. I had kids, so I said, all right, I'll do voiceover. A couple more?
I didn't know that. That was fun to learn.
Yeah.
Guy with the white face. I love that.
I love that. Who are you?
I am the Great Robber from Rebo, Genetic Rock Opera.
Nice. That's a great title.
Or you're a clown that didn't make it because you don't have a red nose. Okay.
He ran out of paint.
Question. Can I hear you try to do impressions of each other?
Oh,
Oh.
good one.
Why
That's interesting.
This is interesting.
All right, talk for a minute.
I think we both have very.
I think we both have very natural,
genetically different voices.
Yeah.
It's like surround sound.
My real voice is this. My real voice is this. There we go. There we go.
We're interchangeable. You can hire either one of us at any time. Hey, by the way, I can't do the gig next week. Are you?
Yeah, I'm there. Actually, no, I can't. I've finally taken a vacation. I know. First one in 24 years. Not really. No, not that long, but.
I'm on a vacation too. I'm exhausted. All right, a couple more questions, then we got to get back to the booth. How many people here have failed to visit Keith Silverstein and David Lodge at their booths? Anybody coming by? Come on by. I'm giving away some money and free stick. Oh, what are you giving?
Money.
All right, two more questions, then we got to get
You know what?
back.
I'm not shaming them for not coming by, though.
Let's get somebody, whoever wants it the most, yell, scream. Let's hear it. That guy back there, you win.
All the way in the back.
Yeah, we'll come to you. What is my sex life like? What?
That's a very short answer. Try another question.
Yeah. It grows on you. How do you balance work and life?
I pretend that work is life, and then everything works out just right.
How do
No,
I-
it's difficult. It's really tough, and I'm sure everybody's different balancing work and life.
I have a wife, she tells me what to do. All right, that's next. All right, anybody? All right, Brooke, go.
Okay, I want both of you to mock
Enough,
my...
Brooke, you're too slow.
No, mock my voice. Pretend you're me.
Okay,
You take
moving
me-
on.
Hey,
No!
where are you from? You got a little New York.
You got like a
kind of
Pennsylvania.
I'm
East
from
Coast
here,
thing.
I'm from Pittsburgh.
You're
You
from here,
sit in
Pittsburgh.
a
I'm
car
from Pennsylvania. Maybe I don't have to do anything. Maybe I sound just like you.
No,
You sure? No.
no.
No. No.
I hope you got off on that, that's very
Where's
weird.
your
Is it all about you? Is that what's going
Yes,
on?
the world revolves around me.
Well, Rebon.
Okay, security, room 12. All right, wait, two more?
I don't know.
Yeah, two more.
So it's good questions.
How
Good
about
stuff.
that, all the way, there's a young
The hat on?
lady with a hand and fingers, with a guy
Black-
behind you.
black sweater?
You two guys are next.
Blacks. Yeah. Hisoka? That has been one of the great joys of my career. That ended up being, it started off being a very fun and enjoyable character to play. That's a weird little, I didn't even say anything yet. Well, that's been, no, he's a very interesting character. He was so much fun to play. I was really nervous about it because here's one of the things I do is I'll search eventually before it's released, like the character. Usually when I get the audition, and I saw that there were so many images and so many articles and so many stories about him that I said this is a hugely popular character. So people are either going to crucify me as soon as this airs, like oh this is the worst ever, or they're going to say nothing, which is not great, or they're going to love it. And we seemed to get a very good reaction off the bat when it was on Toonami. I was very thankful. But he's, you guys know him, he's a very interesting character. You want to hear a little bit?
Yeah.
Woo!
My, how unusual. It looks like that poor man's arms have turned to flower petals.
All right, let's give him a round. Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith Silverstein, a working actor in Hollywood. One more question.
for everyone.
This individual in the blue tie shirt drew you guys, and I just thought you should see it.
Oh, that's great.
Well, yeah, I look like, they just let me out of an institution.
Great. Trying for real life, it's fine.
Okay, thanks for
I look great, I love it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Art school, call tomorrow. No, it's very good.
I already have that degree.
I'm teasing.
It's very good. It's very good.
Wow. Thank you so much. What's your name?
Conrad.
I'm teasing
Conrad,
you.
thank you.
I'm allowed to do that.
No,
They
I
said.
have that degree already.
The teasing? You have a degree in teasing? Because he definitely does.
Oh, wait a minute. They said no harassing on my badge. What did you say?
No harassing.
All right, one more last question, then I
Who
gotta go.
else? Who else has a
We have somebody with a hat. We said we would get to you.
In the very back over here.
Hamburger.
Worcestershire sauce 5 times fast. Your turn.
You just did it for me.
I can do it backwards too.
How about a legitimate question?
Worcestershire 5 times fast.
All right, you there, and then I'm gonna go.
Have you ever had a role where your character didn't actually speak, and so it was like you just run noises or something like that? And was it more difficult or less difficult?
No. I will tell you the jobs that are weird that I've had. I got hired in a commercial, I had to read for it, and what it was the pizza delivery guy, and all I had to do was say, here. So they paid me for that. They paid me for a cough once, which I thought was remarkable. They go, all right, let's see you audition for the cough. And I went, they go, that's great, you're hired. And then finally, I read for a show, and I told this the other day, I read for a part when I was on camera for Comatose Man. My agent called me up.
Wow.
Hey, this is a cute story real quick. Agent calls, I haven't had a job, I have no food, I don't have a mattress, I'm sleeping on the floor in my place with a girl that's my roommate that keeps food under her bed, and we have termites falling out of the cabinets. My agent calls and says, hey, David, I finally got a call for you. I go, really? I go, well, what is it? What is it? Universal, it's a major thing, Comatose Man. I said, are there any lines? No, he's in a coma. I go, how's that acting? And so she goes, go. So long story short, I go, there's 50 people there, I read for the guy, I just do this, I'm in and out of the coma, and I called my agent, I fired her, I said, this is bullshit, it's not even under 5, this is under 0, I need something with lines. 3 days later, they call back, they want you for Comatose Man. So I said, oh really? She goes, yeah, but you have to re-audition. So I went back for a Comatose Man. There were the same 50 people, and I left. I just said, I'm done with on-camera acting. I'm going to do voiceover. So that's a true story.
That's amazing. Yeah, I've had roles where people just grunt or character. It doesn't mean a lot of times you play extra side roles anyway. So I may have had a character in a series and then done somebody who just grunts, or lots of soldiers who just dies. You can hear me screaming in various things. I played dogs who clearly didn't speak and just growled and did that kind of stuff. What else? You know what's funny is one of my shows that I did not have a lot of lines was, what's it called, Magi? You guys know this one. I played Masrur in that. And he didn't talk a lot. He was kind of the strong silent type. He did have lines, but not a ton of dialogue. But it was funny because I was like, wow, there was not a lot of dialogue for that character. And when the trailer came out, it was the first trailer that I ever saw for anime that in the beginning showed the characters and the actors' names. So they showed Masrur, and in the beginning it was like, Keith Silver, voiced by Keith Silver. And I was like, that's amazing, except he rarely talks. It's so weird that that's the one that is like, this is Keith, by the way.
All right, well for me, I got to get back to the booth, but first I want to say, On behalf of Keith and any actor that's here today, we wouldn't be in our careers without you. We say this at every convention. We want to thank you for being fans and for coming out for this. Thanks so much for being a fan of my work. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being a fan of his work. He appreciates it. And thank you very much. I very much do appreciate that.
Want to be at the booth? Come on by. We have pictures. Yes, bro.
I'll be down there too.
I've met a fellow who's bringing gifts for Keith.
Okay. I just don't accept anything alive, no pets. Okay,
What
good.
about me? Am I the bloody liver? I didn't get nothing.
No British people.
I'm very depressed.
Stop it, you don't even know what it is yet. It's something.
It's the head of John the Baptist. It's his virginity. He finally found it.
That was a half-hour-long joke in the car.
Oh, that's fantastic. This is great, and that's very generous of you. That's a large check. You didn't have to make it up. David doesn't get anything? It's a lot of cash. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. No, you counted it yesterday? You counted? Thank you. You didn't have to do that. None of you have to give me cash gifts, but it's very much appreciated.